All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing a species highlight, and I wanted to talk about a fish that I think is a little underrated or maybe not talked about a lot. And that fish is the Platinum Parrot Fish. Another variety is the Polar Parrotfish. We are going to be covering breeding, general care guide, tank size, pretty much everything you're going to need to know to keep this guy. And to start off, we're just going to touch on some of the generals about the fish. So first will be size, and these will kind of vary depending on what these have been crossed with, but typically you'll see between 3 and 5 inches. As for diet, these guys are not picky whatsoever. Think of it as just any other cichlid, so high quality pellets, flakes, frozen foods, live foods. They'll eat pretty much anything that you'll feed them. That is one really nice thing about them, is they are not picky eaters and they'll always come up for food. So a little bit on the temperament, these were crossed with convicts. They are cichlids. They are going to have a little bit more kind of chasey behavior. So they'll have their spot in the tank that they like. And if you're a fan of cichlid personalities in general, you're really going to like these guys. A little bit on water parameters. Nice thing about these guys is they are not picky whatsoever. I wouldn't really do any tuning of the water to try and make these guys happy. And they like some pretty wide swings. So mid 70s to low 80s, anywhere in that range, they're fine with. pH doesn't matter a whole lot. Maybe a little bit more on the softer side, that 6.5, and then up to 7.5. Tank size and setup next. Since they are a little bit on the bigger end and they're kind of boisterous, anywhere between that 30 gallons and 75, anywhere in there, depending on how many you want to keep in community or by themselves, whatever you want to do. Because of that, a little bit more aggressive side of things, you kind of want a little bit more space or more cover in the tank. And so having a lot of line of sight breaks is going to be great. Caves, they're pretty curious, I've noticed. They like to constantly pop in and out and kind of just cruise around the tank and see who's in their area and stuff. So the more hardscape and plant cover and just more things for them to kind of go around and look at, the more happy they'll be, and the less aggressive they should be, as there's more kind of spots and line of sight breaks for them to chill at. They can be kept in big groups just by themselves, which I think is really fun to watch. They also could do pretty good in community tanks depending on how you set it up. Tank mates, I've created a little list here of just a couple different options that you could try. So for your bigger fish with them, we have a full-grown polar parrot in with a lot of South American cichlids and then some crebensis as well. And so any of those kind of mid-sized cichlids, they will hold their own with, and yeah, it's a pretty good matchup there. And so that's a fun tank. If you have a bigger setup and you want to do a lot of medium-sized to bigger stuff, that would be kind of fun. For schooling fish, I'd recommend something that's not going to be real slow or any flowy fins or anything like that. So think of your barbs and like giant danios and stuff that's fast and kind of a little bit bulky will do really good for them. As far as ground crews go, loaches will do great, yo-yo loaches and some other ones. Plecos and then corridors, as long as you're getting on the bigger side of things, I think you won't have any problems there. Okay, so those are some ideas for tank mates, and we'll be moving on to the breeding side of things. We got this picture here, and it kind of gives you a look at a male and female. And on the left, you'll see the male, and he will be a lot bigger. That's probably the first thing you'll notice is the size difference. Males will be kind of built, so they'll look muscly. They even kind of get like the flower horn double chin when they're really full grown. And they won't have as big of a belly as the females will, but definitely beefier. And so that's something to look out for. You'll also see a nuchal hump. So they'll kind of get a little bit of a little knot on the head, and so that's kind of fun to see as well. And their dorsal fins will kind of be longer and more pointed. So just a couple different things you can look out for. And then kind of the female will just be smaller and rounder, a little bit more dull on the coloring, and then the V-shaped vent fin as well you could look for. So they're very easy to breed. I've seen them breed in a lot of different setups actually. So they are not picky whatsoever. And once you do have a pair in the tank, they will defend their spot pretty good. I've seen in community tanks them chase off, I don't know how many other fish was in there, probably 13 or so. They were just keeping them all away, and they had their little babies in the front of the tank. There were some yo-yo loaches in there that would like he just kept coming by, and they would chase him off every time. They do get pretty feisty when they have babies, and that's honestly the nice thing about them, is they do a really good job raising the fry. You'll kind of see them corral them around the tank and just take good care of them and chase everyone off. So just like convicts, they have a lot of babies, and they will breed all the time. Something to definitely look out for, but if you're into that kind of stuff, or maybe you just want to make a ton of them, then it's a really fun fish. So I haven't really looked into it much until making this video, and I kind of realized how cool they were. They have really fun personalities, and there's a lot of different kinds and colors out there and stuff for you to pick from. So if you love that big cichlid energy in the smaller package, then this is definitely the fish for you. And if you're local to the Spokane area, we have these guys currently for sale at the Northwest Eden Pet on Division, so come check us out and see what we got. All right, that wraps up this video. If you made it this far, please be sure to like and share it with your friends. That'll really help us out. And if you have a fish that you'd like to see in the next video, be sure to leave a comment and we will do our next showcase on that. So thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.